so you're not watching a screen, a static screen forever. So let's do this. There we go. Better than nothing. And now you guys can see how close we are to actually getting this underway between Heroic and G2. Again, there's a bit of a difference between these two teams in terms of their EPL standings. G2 was 6th, Heroic are more like 10th. I think 9th or 10th maybe. They're 4 and 8 at this point, so a couple wins today would be massive. And on the other side of that though, if G2 were to lose some of these maps, that could very well put them out of the standings to get themselves qualified. I'm not entirely sure how many more games there are to go. I think there's about another month worth of games, so every point is very, very important. And of course, Heroic recently have been performing very well. They've had some notable performances at LAN. I know they didn't get as far as they wanted to at Bucharest, but they did take down a few teams there of good caliber. So they're on the up, I think it's safe to say. Sound delay. If there's a sound delay, restart your stream, bro. It's an issue with Twitch. It should fix it. Indeed. I think Heroic are on the up and up, man. I think these guys are incredibly good. And G2 can't take anything for granted, otherwise they will get upset today. Yeah, Stealthy, I could see this going 1-1 for sure. I think I would expect this to go 1-1. Why do they have Team X tag? They originally joined as Team X, I think. And then afterwards switched to Heroic. But it is the same team, don't worry. Team X is Heroic. Still in warm-up, of course, guys. Just wanted to show you some action as opposed to absolutely nothing. Yeah, still warm up, guys. You can see there that Lomare will go away. He's the 6th man on the server right now. It's just in warm up, so that'll correct itself. Don't you worry. Nah, Glaive's also on the server. Yes, execute. This is actually live, mate. We're in round 11, the score is still 0-0, and everyone has weapons, and they're TKing each other, and AFK is 100% live. Kappa, no Kappa. Will Virtus Pro win ESL New York? Man, that's asking a lot. VP looked good at Bucharest. They had a couple of amazing maps that reminded me of the VP of old. I just feel they're too inconsistent, honestly. And the teams at ESL New York are a couple of levels above, I would say, what was at Bucharest. So I'd say no, but you never know a VP, which side of them is going to show up. Is this commentator reading this Twitch chat? No. What about On Fire Thorin? Could it happen in the future? Shiny, I have no idea, bro. I think Thorin he's pretty much set doing what he's doing right now with the Thorin's thoughts and being an analyst. I think he's golden as he is. Last time I watched you cast, I lost $7 on Astralis. Should I put my faith in you again to make G2 win? Executes. I am not a betting man, so I don't even want to give you advice, bro. You do what with your money what you will. I would probably say this is going to go 1-1 though. I don't feel either team is going to clean sweep the other one. I think this could be a really sick close game. Your voice is like French. Canadian. You what, mate? I'm English, so other side of the world, but sure, why not? Let's go with French Canadian. Why not? What's your prediction for this map? I could see this map being like 16-13 to Heroic. I think G2 will win Train, a similar kind of scoreline. Shox is going to drop 32 plus kills. I'm calling it now. Damn. If he does, then execute. You are the man. Favorite event you've casted at? I'll probably say DreamHack Malmo. It was a really cool event. DreamHack Masters. It was like the first really big event that I casted. So, I always have a special place in my heart. Do you even bass? If you mean do I play bass guitar, yes. If you're asking me do I play bass guitar well, then... not really. Mo hates you. That sucks, Polly. Such is life. Can I have a shout out to the Fife Massive up in Fife, Scotland? My grand's a massive fan. There you go, Reaper Fisher. To you and all the lovely people in Fife. Do you think Optic can beat SK and LAN? Not really. I think SK should be able to clean that one up fairly convincingly. A solo cast today, yes, Dex, indeed. So what are we waiting for here? You switch to Heroic now. No, Execute, don't do this to me. Don't make me the reason if you lose money. That sucks. The Big Chip, how you doing? To be completely honest, I don't ever do KZs or surfing or any of that stuff. I tried it for a while, I just didn't enjoy it. I couldn't get into it. Like, I understand that some people really enjoy sort of like the chill relaxation they get from it, but it just frustrated me because my movement's total trash. Like, pure trash. I Rust Gaming, us in North Scotland, Inverness, look down on anyone from Fife. You should hit me up with a shout instead. How about I just shout out the whole of Scotland for being awesome? I actually used to live in Scotland near Dundee when I was younger. My dad was in the RAF and there's a base in... where's the base at? Oh, I'm drawing a total blank right now. Lucas, was it? RAF Lucas? I'm not sure if that rings a bell. Maybe someone in Scotland knows that. I have no idea. How old are you? 30. I'm an old man. I'm basically a granddad in esports. But not the creepy kind that invites you to that. I bet my house in G2 if they lose the whole of the country. Damn. Am I Scottish? No. But I'm from the north of England, so I'm not that far away from them. Do you think the losing team will get more rounds than Blade kills? Yes. I think they will. I can see this game being close, guys. I don't think it's going to be a massive blowout either way. I think it's going to be fairly close until the end. I could be completely wrong. I've been totally wrong in the past. So I'm willing to accept I could be totally off. I am indeed Reaper Fisher. What a smoggy is. The one from Middlesbrough, isn't it? Running the new from near Newcastle quad. thought I was blue. I mean, we have completely different voices and accents, but sure, why not? Why is British CS so bad? Because we all hate each other so much. Hey Brian, how you doing? Damn, that emote though. The Pope Panther is that? We have the same voice? Alright. Those yay or nay icons in chat. Yay if you think my voice sounds similar to blue. Nay if you don't think it's similar. We'll see. We'll put it to the test here, No Limit 900. We'll see what the chat thinks. Yay or nay? Have your say in chat, boys. What's your name, Doug? I mean, probably Doug, the guy you're speaking to. Here we go. Anyway, into the first pistol. Finally, both teams on the server. We were waiting for body, I believe. But now we are good to go. And look at this hyper-aggression. This Heroic are just going straight onto the B site. G2 setting up for the retake. They do have a kit and a smoke. More of a passive play up on Graffiti as RPK will land the first headshot. Screamer, meanwhile, could very well get the better hand to Snappy, who misses a hail of bullets. That could cost his team horrendously. Scream with the next headshot, and Glaive is the last player to fall. A bomb did get planted in amongst all the chaos, but somehow only Smiths was killed on the side of G2. Really rough. I see a lot of nays in chat, so you kind of sound like Total Biscuit. The weird thing is there, Brian, I don't know if you're too familiar with like northeast geography in England, but I think Total Biscuit said he's from Consett, which is literally 10 miles away from where I live, from where I'm from. So that's there will be similarities in their accent, I suppose. Enigma, hello, or Enigme. Read that completely wrong. Brilliant. Why Team X not Heroic? I think they originally joined as Team X. I'm not entirely sure on the reasons why, but rest assured that Team X is Heroic. They are the same roster. And they have conceded the first round after getting a bomb plant. So no huge investment into this one for the Danes, plus Modi, who I believe is Swedish. Smith's close range with the MP7. Pretty solid position for this weapon. We expect to see him in the future with the AWP in similar situations. Two players strong on B is going to be RPK and Body, who have each other's backs with the SMGs. So it looks as though G2 are in perfect position to just hold off this push. I feel like Team X are about to get wrecked. Say Team X, of course, it's Heroic, but here we go. Body's going to be holding down left click, and actually RPK goes down, and he was the tag team partner of Body, and the fact that he went down instantly put Body in a horrible position. That being said, Heroic aren't going to get anything else from this round. Snappy is going to die. What the actual hell? I was sure he was going to die instantly there. Instead, he actually gets the kill and the MP7, so he's still in this round a little while longer. Needs to be careful he doesn't peek round at the wrong second, otherwise he could end up getting picked off. And you know, if Snappy gets a bomb plant out of this, I'll be just done. Okay, justice has been served. G2 lose 3 players, but they do take the second round. Smith's actually got blocked at spawn there. I think he wanted to have a quicker peek up mid. So that block could definitely keep him off guard for now. Peering into balloons. Doesn't look like a terrorist is going to peek there just yet. Heroic, more passive for now. Smith's going to be throwing in the flash. Seen this a few times before. Flashing out for Scream to potentially get his hands on some frags here. He's in connector, but Valda's about to get round the back of him if he's not careful. He may have heard the footsteps as he landed in connector. And I can see Shox is about to peak. 1-for-1 trade so far, but Scream gets the second one. And it's now on Freeze and Snappy. Freeze, of course, The players on Heroic will like to pick up the AWP for himself here on Overpass, but for now, he has the assault rifle in his hands instead. Smith's around the corner on short, so he's not going to get spotted just yet, and Freeze has no reason to believe he's there. This does allow Freeze to get himself round the back, though. And Smiths is not long for this world. If he's not careful, he's about to get picked off from behind by Freeze. We just heard the noise, and there's the frag. The AWP drops, but in this kind of situation, the AK makes a lot more sense. You know that the CT's going to be coming up through the smokes, round the back. And the bomb's about to get planted. But have a look at this. Scream flanking. RPK also flanking. Spot Snappy on the cross, but unable to land the frag. And meanwhile, Scream is going to get the better of Snappy, leaving Friesler 1 and 3. Going to use the smoke to his advantage for now behind the dumpster. Oh, but he just dropped down. That made noise, and instantly Body knows he's here. That movement really betraying Freeze. There's the first headshot, though, in this confrontation. Looking for a second one. The second player comes up, but Body is going to get the upper hand. Drops by only 35 health, and with the kit, a comfortable defuse. Body's going to be running for the AWP that was dropped by Smiths. There we go. He just switched. Oh, yeah, okay. I was a bit worried there that he actually switched back again and ended up losing the AWP, but he's okay. So G2 take the 3-0 lead with Heroic landing 2 bomb plants. Scream hasn't died yet. 5-0. Nice play. Everybody's got a kill. You always like to see that. No one lagging behind at the moment. Heroic back into pistols. They have Kevlar this time around. Look where the bombs dropped. Actually in bathroom. Fortunately though for Heroic, they have taken down Scream's AK. So finally he will prove to be mortal after all. Beautiful entry for Snappy. And that's 2 kills so far. But Freeze and Snappy are both low now. Smith is coming under heavy duress. He needs to land one of these AWP shots. Smith, you need to start landing these. Otherwise it's going to get so sketchy. His teammate has just been dinked in the meanwhile. It's going to be RPK on the dumpster. Here comes a Tech 9 ripping through 2 players. And Modi now in a 1 versus 1 with 15 health. Surely not going to get this spray, and Body so nearly dies. But again, G2 will just about hold on for a 4-0 lead. But 2 of these rounds now could have easily gone the way of Heroic. So on another day, this could easily be a 2-2, 3-2 in Heroic's favour. But such is the way of Counter-Strike. Heroic yet to get themselves on the boards. And Smith's missing 2 or 3 shots there off the site. Very nearly proved to be the determining factor in round 4. But they just got to put that to the back of their minds. Heroic are back into this with a very solid buy. Freeze, of course, with the AWP now. First time that we've seen this in his hands. Proving himself to be quite a solid AWP as well in recent games. Running through connector. It's going to be Smiths now with the AWP again in bathroom. Can hear footsteps to his right hand side. The call will come there long, but with so much time left, does it even matter? 55 seconds now. Smiths can't take anything for granted, so he's just going to hold fast. Glaive goes to the peak. He did just see the shoulder peeking around the side, and Smith's able to convert that into the frag. Also throwing the smoke down so he can relocate over on the short side. He could be in for another frag, but that flashbang is perfect by Heroic. In the eyes of Smiths, couldn't see a single thing. And now Scream on the site, that flashbang neutralizing Freeze for a couple seconds, but he still lands the shot nonetheless. Now Shock on the Troc has such a horrible job ahead of him. He's already got 2 frags in this round. Is somehow staying alive for a bit longer, but it's going to be down to Body in another clutch. He's pulled the last couple off, but it was 1v1s, not 2v1s against him. He does actually dink towards Modi onto 9 health. He will fall, but Heroic finally convert a chance and get themselves on the scoreboard. And you can see the amount of damage that they've done over these rounds. It forces G2 into what's looking like it's going to be a force buy, considering RPK is down to $600. So even though that's the first time that Heroic have won a round, G2 are feeling it. So certainly a chance now for Heroic to battle away back into more rounds and to really stamp their authority on to Overpass. I'd say 6 rounds is perfectly workable as far as Heroic are concerned. First of many. What a shot by Free. Scream gets his head ripped clean off his shoulders. Didn't know what hit him. He'll be momentarily silent. Smiths on 1 health again. We've seen this before in the pistol round. On truck, the double stack between Smiths and Body. Body with the aforementioned SMG is going to try and put down some work, but the molly landing by his feet draws him out into the open. Shots was on the rotate, but a more interesting RPK because he was the player to see action as a plethora of players darted past him onto the site. G2 now, as a result of their force buy in the previous, will be onto an eco, and Heroic are looking pretty good right now. Yeah, I'm switching between Team X and Heroic just so you guys know it's the same team in case anyone is a little bit confused. Hey, you guys can't talk trash about overpasses. Isn't that sick? Hype that. Shox is not long for this world. He's about to get eviscerated. Valda finally gets the kill. I was a bit worried there in case things were going to go pear-shaped. Connector control assumed by G2, but it seems like it's dropped in the ocean because they're up against Valda's AK, and he is padding those stats seriously this round. Already 3 kills. Thumbs down to Body, but not for much longer. Dead and Buried. Heroic with 3 rounds on the bounce. This will be a buy for G2. But Smiths will not have a great deal of grenades. Are they going to be able to afford a kit? They are. 2 kits in total. I was a bit worried there. It does sacrifice a couple of extra grenades though on Shox in particular. Only the 1 smoke. If he didn't get the kit, could have got a HE and a flash. HE or a flash I should say. Or potentially 2 flashes. But either way, this is enough Arsenal to work off. But look at Moddy, he is not giving any credence to this B play, and had Body not thrown out that molly and then the smoke, I believe that the push would have came in. Meanwhile, Body and RPK are going to do their best to stop pushing through the short side into water, so maintaining some kind of control over the map. The problem is though that they're banking a lot on someone not pushing through that smoke, and now you can see that Body has second thoughts. He's like, well, hold on a second, if someone did push through that smoke, we're kind of boned at this point. Scream and Smiths both with frags. And Heroic now at a player deficit after winning 3 rounds in a row. Moddy's patience over on the B side has paid off with at least 1 kill. Make that a second as RPK goes down. Shox in the meanwhile will make short work of Valda, but with 55 seconds left, it is all even at 2 apiece. Moddy's low, but Shox and Smiths are both taking a bit of damage, and there is still an AWP in the hands of both teams. Smiths and Freeze respectively. Shox is going to be coming around the back of them. But in the meanwhile, Freeze is darting to B with a bomb, and he will get this plant. He's pretty confident that no one's here. He has backup coming in the form of Moddy, who really hasn't moved a great deal in this round. Hasn't needed to. He's been the static turret over on the monster side. And I'm curious to see how Freeze plays this. Is he going to go aggro with the peak, or is he going to play more passive? It seems like he's going to go quite aggressive here. And judging from where both G2 members are, they're going to be walking right into him because he's missed that first shot. He's throwing the Molotov right now. He gets picked off as he tries to scamper away, and that puts a lot of pressure on Moddy's shoulders. The smoke can actually work against him. In fact, it's not going to go for the spray down. It's impressive. He actually gets that kill, but I've got a question of Shox. Why would you go off by yourself? You had a teammate there with you the whole time. And Smiths is now next on the chopping block and he gets sprayed down. Heroic has done it. 4-4. But Shox and Smiths separating off and going 1 by 1. Surely you want to get that avenge frag as soon as possible. That's rough. Hey TV, thanks. Appreciate the kind words. Molly into short. to stop any aggressive CT play. And now Heroic are going to be using this opportunity to go through Monster. Solid opening pick. Smith now charging through to his death. This is a pistol round. You can understand the hyper-aggression, not checking corners. Can't really say anything against G2 here. It's fair enough.
Bomb has been planted.
Scream needs to channel his Juan taps. Narrowly missing out on the first one. That previous round, people saying it was Smith's fault. I actually think Shox was more to blame there, going in alone. Smiths was still coming in from Graffiti, was looking with his AWP. It just seemed like the two of them split up. I don't know if it was a lack of communication, they felt rushed because the bomb was close to detonating, but Muddy's smoke there was perfect. He could actually still see through the gap. So take nothing away from Muddy and Team X / Heroic. This guy's played it well. They talk about my one taps. That round they didn't. So, Heroic, where do we go from here? You have now got 5 rounds on the board, and this is forcing G2 out aggressively. Evaldo with 2 opening picks, and Body and RPK have done this before. This time they're going to get punished. Body from Monster at the same time, and the pincer movement is in effect. Plant from Freeze, G2 are struggling to keep their heads above water at this stage. Really struggling. Just trying to save these weapons as much as is physically possible. Scream has the back of Smith, who's peering into the bathroom. But have a quick look at where these terrorists are starting to come in now. Smith's landed the first shot. He actually came out of the bathroom at the perfect moment there. Now looking back in again, Snappy could end up getting picked off. It's all about timing. No Smiths! Oh, the worst time to turn around possible. There was no way of him knowing, of course. That's so unfortunate. You know, it seems like Scream could be following the same fate. Indeed, he shall. Are they going to pick up the second AWP? Wouldn't make a lot of sense on the T side, so they're going to stick with the one for Freeze. But G2, not only do they lose the round and keep their weapons, their economy again is absolutely broke. Yeah, that timing was brutal. So it was looking pretty terrible for Heroic at the very start, but after keeping the economy of G2 low, you can see the importance of that. Now bouncing back with 6 rounds in a row. Couple Deagles, couple 5.7s, a P250 and a flash. They do have enough to throw a spanner in the works. And it's going to be a long execute with Muddy watching the backside. Shox is about to die as he goes through. You can see what he was looking for to try and use that gap to his advantage. But meanwhile, the frags are all coming down. On the long side, RPK with a P250 is good for 1 kill, but the problem is that there's far too many AKs firing his way. If he can get another kill, that would be impressive from him, and he has got another one, so fair play to him. But Heroic are too strong to let that slip, and they're going to have buys for the foreseeable future here. In actual fact, I don't think we'll see an eco from Heroic for the rest of this. 10k on 4 players. So, no easy rounds for G2. Pregnant me. What? The actual hell. Come on, auto director, do something, mate. Christ. I'm casting and streaming. I can't multitask with being the spectator as well, mate. What is that? There's Body dying. And RPK has to try and pick up the slack on B by himself for the next few moments. I believe the Scream has came into heaven, indeed, and that's going to leave Smith by himself on the site for now. The M4 is going to be working out for 1 kill, but no more than that. Freeze with double frags leaves Smiths having to come down. And the smoke is pretty much going to put a red light in his face. So he has to relocate down to graffiti. We'll be going for this. And to be fair, they're so far behind in rounds now, I can't even put it against him for trying his best. But look at the positions from Team X / Rock. They are in prime position to strike. Glaive short. Snappy's either going to smoke behind the site, and Freeze has his AWP trained on graffiti. It's not going to be required though. Snappy lands the headshot. 8-4 for Heroic. And G2 are just getting plowed. They call a timeout, but for me, this might be a bit late. There's only going to be 3 more rounds of play on this half. This round they have a decision to make. RPK with 6.4k. Do they go for a force? They just drop pistols maybe and go for a full buy next round? I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out soon. I mean, there's a fair shout here that if Smiths did try and save his AWP, they could get a buy-in. That would be 2 players that could drop. So, I'm not entirely sure, boys. At some point, honestly, though, you have to look at the currency that counts at the top of the screen, and that reads 8-4 to Heroic. So you have to try and force some issues, push the envelope, and see if you can get rounds back in your favour. Didn't quite pay off. The 3v1's asking a lot for Smiths, and he hasn't necessarily had the greatest of games. I mean, he's 6 for 12. He's had a knock quite a few times as well. He just hasn't had a huge impact. Right, so predictions, guys. What do you think the score's going to be at this game? It is pretty 50-50 at the start of this. People split between G2 and Heroic. What do we reckon? Let's get some numbers behind the predictions. I'm going to say, I said at the start I thought Heroic would win 16-13 on Overpass. I'm going to stick with that. I think that G2 could definitely have a second gust on their T side, and I think they could actually break the economy a couple of times with Team X / Heroic. So I'm going to stick with 16-13. What do you guys reckon? 16-4. Brilliant. I guess someone had to go there, didn't they? 16-11. Okay. It's a pretty fair shout right now. So, G2 did go for the bite. This is going to be a glass cannon up in the hands of Smiths, which was dropped by RPK, getting at a 6.3k, I think, coming into this round. So, that puts him onto an M4 instead. Is glass cannon very much a distinct lack of grenades on the side of G2. So, the Frenchmen are struggling, plus Belgian, of course. Also, no kits. Let's have a look at how the positions are looking. So again, Body and RPK having B by themselves. Simple positions is what we've seen before. And then last remaining players, the G2 are all circling around on the A side. But it seems like the go button has been pushed. And for now, Heroic were definitely flirting with the idea of full executing on. But I think these smokes are keeping them at bay for now. However, there is very little to play with now after this for G2. 30 seconds left on the timer. This could come down to the next couple of frags, honestly. This round is definitely in the balance. It's going to be Body falling down first. RPK goes for the spray. 15 bullets left in the magazine, and he's able to get 2 frags. Is that enough to allow Shocks to step up now and take over the round? It's a rough ask, because he's got 3 players ahead of him. First one dropped with the bomb, and now it's a one-on-one. Glaive faces Smith. Smith misses the shot on the cross. 7 seconds left. Glaive's going to be able to get this plant. Smith's nose is behind the sandbags. Glaive doesn't have a smoke, a flash, or anything to use here. He's just going to be throwing his pistol into the air. Smiths, please! You've got to get this clutch from your team, Smiths! What is happening? He doesn't have Kevlar, so he's getting wrecked from each shot that's going down his way, and Glaive's going to get the clutch. Smiths, oh, gets dunked. And G2 desperately required that round. The dream is dead. You've got to hit those, man. That's so rough. He had 2 or 3 shots there. That was G2's way back into this half. It would have still been rough. They'd have been eyeing up maybe 7 rounds in Overpass, but that's doable. As As it stands now, losing the first player in the round, although Body has resurrected it somewhat. They could be looking at 11-4 deficit at half-time, which very much could be a bridge too far. However, RG2 going to take 6 into half-time. Heroic positioned pretty solidly across the A side of the map. They have control of a bathroom. They don't quite have control of a connector, but neither do G2. Although Shox is thinking about it right now, just hiding behind the door. As it stands, this setup for G2 would be pretty much tailor-made to defend this push, courtesy of Heroic. Got 3 players strong on A. Here comes the set play. Smiths will land the frag with a FAMAS. Looking for the pop flash. Freezes up to the challenge. He knows exactly what's coming. He's already read the script. He's a couple of pages ahead. Snappy going to be charging onto the site with a double spray down. And our Shox behind has the horrific task of trying to clutch this. He's been spotted. And Glaive connects the headshot. Heroic have already got 10 rounds. And G2 in the last round of the half are going to have maybe a couple of FAMASes. Maybe a Mag 7. Not a great deal to play with. I'm actually curious to see which weapons they do end up picking up. So they're in that kind of FAMAS Mag 7 terror position. Yep. And that's what they go for. No kits, but at least this way they have some nades. Scream using the Mag 7 in a very powerful position for this, but he's on by himself typically. In these kind of rounds, you'll actually see the CTs running 2 players in connectors. They have each other's backs covered. Thing is that Heroic have been throwing a lot of grenades and mollies into connectors, so that could be playing in the back of G2's minds. It's a high risk, high reward play, and Glaive will be putting down Smiths, and the fact that Scream only has a Mag 7 means he can't really retort with anything. He's only got a USP at range, and that's not going to beat a P250. Shox could be about to see some action. Freeze is pushing his location. FAMAS. Freeze. Jeez, man. This guy is lightning fast with his reactions. I mean, for all of the mistakes that Smiths has made and all of the issues that he's had so far on this map, Freeze has been kind of the polar opposite. The antithesis of Smiths, if you will. RPK's FAMAS is in all sorts of trouble here. Flash is landing by him. He's got players left and right. Inevitably, he will fall down. Valda will secure that kill. Body gets one. Nearly gets a second through the smoke, but it is going to be an 11-4 half-time. Do we have any believers in chat that G2 can come back from this deficit? Me, personally, I think this is done and dusted. I originally said 16-13. I now think I'm going to be way off. Those people that are saying yes, that they believe G2 can come back from this, are you actually trolling, or do you genuinely believe they can come back from 11-4 half-time? The thing is, if G2 were all firing on all cylinders, and this just happened to be that Heroic were God mode at this point, and I was seeing big plays from the likes of Shox, Scream, you know, Smiths, these sort of players, then maybe I could believe, but all I've seen is G2 struggling across the board. Like, yes, Smiths has missed shots, but you haven't really seen what Shoxy or Screams are capable of doing either. No, excuse me, I'm just trying to understand where you guys are coming from that think they could come back. Those people believing in comebacks probably betting on G2. Well, crazy things have happened. It is Counter-Strike at the end of the day. It raises edge half the time. I just think Heroic have been playing way too solid, and what's also worrying for me, if you happen to be a G2 fan or someone that wants to see this be a close game, is that Freeze has been landing some crazy good shots on the T side with the AWP. So when he's able to play more of a static AWPer sort of role, I think he's only going to go from strength to strength. Freeze has been landing some crazy entries. So, I'm not sure that Smiths can contend with him at this point. To be completely honest, I think Freeze should have run of the map. So, those of you wondering, this is the first map. The second map will be Train. And that'll be the final map of tonight's proceedings, at least for me. If Heroic choke and I lose my $11, I'm going to find you, Metis. You don't even know what I'll do to you. Oh, execute. Stop flirting with me. Let me just get a quick drink, guys, so I can keep my voice somewhat intact. 1 sec. You're not missing anything, it's just warm up. Damn, Ronnie, savage. I suppose the real casters get here when we don't have 2 games simultaneously. Right to the fields, bro. Alright, here we go. Second pistol round coming up. G2 have to win this to stay in the game pretty much. Heroic will have an eye on Train already. G2 on the aggression side, I should say. Christ, it's getting late. I'm getting tired. You can probably tell. And interestingly enough, G2 have gone for 0 grenades in this round. So we're not going to see any sort of set play. The Glock trading effect, maybe. Just go for that raw aim. I mean, they are a team that have a lot of aim stars on them. Crazy talent. And Freeze with the USP long range is actively baiting out. So what we get interesting here is if Freeze stays a while longer on the site and they start to push down long, Snappy would have had the total drop on them. But instead, they just back away down in Connector. That's going to see Glaive get tagged instantly down to 11. And now on the cross, this is where the USP can definitely deliver some fatal headshots, but it's going to be Molly from heaven that is raining down some serious damage. Body and Smiths both with frags. This opens up the site nicely. It's going to get planted on. Can Molly get any more kills on the retreat? The answer seems to be a no, and he's eating a lot of suppressing fire courtesy of the terrorists, and now it's all on Muddy. He's not going to survive any longer. G2 pick up the second pistol, keep the dreams alive, and got it fairly convincingly in the end at that. The bomb plant keeping 3 players alive, not too shabby. Hey, Metis Bloom. Hey, you what, mate? That's a first. 16-11 called it. Ooh. Freeze just got wrecked in the back. That's going to leave a mark. Of course, not buying anything in this round, so we can get the AWP as soon as possible. The rest of his team has invested a little bit. Or in Snappy's case, quite a lot actually. Him and Valdo have gone all in on this round. They're going to be left with nothing. Modi will be the first to fall, courtesy of the Mac 10. Freeze can be added to that list as the earlier shank will bring him down to death. Glaive with the Deagle, what can he get done? It doesn't look like a great deal because, again, I think G2 are going to go down via connector to B, which takes the play and the potential upset out of the hands of Heroic, but they have at least landed themselves a frag. Bomb meanwhile goes down. It's just a Mac 10 though for Valda, so an expendable weapon. And when you see how many SMGs came into this round, it was 5 in total, so G2 just wanted all the farm in the world. Maybe a little bit greedy. but it looks like they're not going to get punished. And Heroic will be looking to save their Kevlars and their Deagle. So it gives them a hope in round number 3 of this half. Or 17 in total. Shox is going to get the drop on Glaive, who's just chilling by the fountain. Why the hell not? Shox is now spotted. Another player needs to be very careful here, the CTs, because Shox is on the prowl. Valda is going to get a frag just before the round reaches its conclusion. And Heroic keep 2 players alive. So that's Kevlar, Mac 10, 5-7 going through into the next round. I expect the rest of the team to just full on save. Definitely for Freeze. He wants that AWP. There's the reason he didn't buy anything in the last round. So just the PT50 added. Surprises me a little bit. Okay, there you go. I was about to say, surprises me a little bit that Valda didn't drop his CZ to somebody, but he actually did to Freeze. This allows them an extra player to have a bit of power coming into this round. It's just a small little addition, but it could make a pretty big difference overall. Not really expecting anything here for Heroic in this round. There's the P250. The double spray down for RPK. Money in the bank. Down to 7 health. But you don't care about this. Even if he loses Mac 10, he's already got more than enough for an AK. Snappy, dude! He was clearly dead. What are you doing? I mean, he died about a second before he team killed him. What a scumbag. Why you do this? Anyways, Snappy, the spy, has been bribed off G2 to team kill, is the last to fall. Plenty of funds on both teams. All things considered, doesn't really make a big difference. But Heroic can now have a buy and Freeze with his AWP. Let's see what his spawn is like, actually. I'm curious. It's nothing too great. So he's actually behind a couple of players. He's not going to be able to get into mid quickly. I wouldn't expect to see him push Fountain here, but maybe he'll go for it if he's feeling lucky. Yeah, he's actually going to go for balloons. And you can see that Smiths has already passed balloons, and if he has an AWP there, I mean, to be honest, Smiths hasn't been playing great, so you'd probably miss anyway. But if Smiths had an AWP, he'd have actually been there before Freeze was, which is why I originally didn't think that Freeze would go there. Pretty high risk. Pays off, though. Freeze backs away. And G2 into full AKs. Savage. I mean, come on. Am I even telling a lie there? Smiths has missed a lot of shots so far, bro. I mean, that 1v1 clutch against Glaive on the site. Don't need to say anything else. Just watch that back a few times. It's not been the greatest day for Smiths. He's an AWP that has a lot of potential, though. I mean, I've seen him play great Counter-Strike. It's not very often. There's a flash onto Long. It's going to land in the face of Snappy. And speaking of the man, at the centre of all of this, he is a goner. Smoke is going to stop any more terrorists from pushing, but as we can see, the benefit of the minimap and X-Ray, it is going to be a short push. With 25 seconds left, they have to go for this. They can't wrap around for B again. So it's all in on this play. Body taking point. Shox just behind him. It's a 2-on-5, however. And now Shox with 2 opening picks. What is even happening here? How is Shox getting these kills? No more found. And Heroic in their first rifle will put the hammer down. And regain their winning ways. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, bro. Don't get me wrong. If I played against Smiths, he'd absolutely wreck me. So, I'm just saying. Smiths would wreck pretty much 99% of people in chat right now. And you know it too. Freeze in the bathrooms anyway. For the FAMAS. So you can see that even though Heroic did end up winning the round, it is a pretty decent cost because G2 coming back into this. Honestly, I would say I would favour G2 slightly in terms of weaponry. Yes, they have a Tech 9, but we all know how terrifying the Tech 9 actually is. And 4 AKs up against FAMAS and 4 M4s is pretty even across the board. So you can see that even though they lost that round, with Shox getting his double exit frags, or double entries, whatever you want to call it, onto the site, dropping you up there did actually hurt Freeze quite a bit. So I'll be curious to see how this one plays out now as a result, if that is going to come back to sting them. They're looking for a boost. Freeze is actually boosting up. I believe that is Snappy. And in the meanwhile, it has gone eerily quiet across the battlefield. Neither team has drawn a kill. All 10 players still alive and kicking, and healthy at that. So this suggests that we're going to have an explosive climax with fireworks at the ends. Why can't I speak today? I have no idea. Snappy, though, is going to get picked off. It's a position that you are going to check from a terrorist viewpoint. His head ripped clean off his shoulders. Modi now on the truck alongside Valdes, doing a really stellar job of holding this one down. They're still alive. A 2-on-2 was looking to go completely against them, and our Stream is not close at all to salvaging that bomb. He gets picked off, but Shox around the back is lurking. There's a first frag, looking for the second one as well. Can he transfer the spray? Yes, he can! Shox with 2 seconds gets the clutch. G2 pull an 8th round out the hat, and the Magician Shox is on point. Heroics economy down the toilet. How close were Heroic there to taking a 13-7 lead? Instead, G2 now have a golden opportunity to come back into this. And it's all because of Shox. And as I said in the first half, he wasn't having the greatest performance, but on T-half he has stepped things up massively. This is the Shoxy that we like to watch. 19-14 he is now on. By far and away top fragging for G2. Three-player stack on B side for Heroic. I'm going to be encircling through Shox. He may be not long for this wall. 2 players behind him. I actually really like that pincer movement. The AK-47 does transition hands. Trade off to Heroic, but they don't have Kevlar, so it's not a case of getting that on a player and making them a real power play. It have to be more of a positional mistake from G2 to let this AK rip them apart now. They only have 1 smoke left to play with, though, so that is something to keep an eye on. They're going to be able to screen their way across. Glaive, what is that P250 work? Just lands the dome shot onto body, and down he goes instantly. And Heroic keeping into this round. It's about to get a whole lot more difficult. There's the aim punch we were discussing before. Without the Kevlar, unfortunately, that cost Freeze's life. And Heroic are into another round where, honestly, I prefer them to just eco. They have a 3-round buffer at the moment. There's no point forcing in a rush and potentially just putting yourself into a 12-12 sort of scoreline. You know, Freeze likes to use the AWP as much as possible, so it would make a lot more sense to do exactly what they're doing. So I fully agree with this decision. If they were trailing 12-9, then maybe they would go for a force there, but maybe this is definitely the right play. They're trying to assume connector control. Double stacking it with Snappy and Glaive. See RPK's darting around the side. He's not entirely sure what to do with this one. The rest of his team's playing passively. They know that it's going to be a pistol round more than likely for Heroic, but also definitely flirting with the idea that it could be a force spy, so I don't want to give anything away. If it was a force, it's possible Heroic would go for a very aggressive play anyway, because they'd be lacking grenades, be lacking firepower. So across the board, it's just a really solid decision for both teams in this round. First to save, and then G2 to play it really passive. And that will leave Glaive with their P250 and a flashbang. So, G2, they were 11-4 behind when this half started. And now, they find themselves just 2 rounds shy. As a result of the eco, we are going to have a solid buy-up with full grenades coming up too, and kits. This is probably the best buy we've seen for Heroic on their CT side. All things considered, 29k worth of equipment value. But G2 are coming into this as well with AKs. This interestingly doesn't have the AWP, clearly not feeling it quite yet. The AK-47 is still very powerful, of course. This allows faster executes. people really believe in jinxing? Come on. It's 2016, bros. Now I'm tempted to just like say everything I can to jinx people and just massively trigger chat to everyone that's like super behind G2. Oh, hold on a second. There's 2 players here for Heroic on B, but when you look at the positions, this, I mean, it ends up working out for them, but it's always a bit sketchy there with that boost. If it doesn't quite work out, then G2 just rush on. It could be a complete bloodbath massacre as far as the CTs are concerned. It does work out for them for now, though. They get the opening pick and a bit of grenade damage, but in the meanwhile, Heroic are eating damage of their own, and they've actually got the opening pick. Scream lands the headshot. Glaive jumping up through the smoke onto the box. Gets punished first, and Scream's not happy with just the 1 frag. He wants more. Meanwhile, though, the terrorists are starting to drop like flies and freeze with the last shot. We'll give it a 13-10. G2 on the brink of breaking Heroic again. Instead, we'll have to dip into their pockets and dig deep for another buy. And this is going to put their funds very much at a loss. Only $150 for Scream, $50 for Smith, $200 for RPK. So this effectively could see Heroic take a gaping lead if they take this one down. Look at Shocks though, hyper aggressive play through short. He could be walking face to face with Valder in a second, who's behind the barrels. Smiths goes out first. Has the AWP this time. Went for the AK last one, so let's see if this works out. Honestly, on the T side, we've seen no real efficiency with that AWP. It's been typically the AKs that have been ripping through the defense. What's up, Lolman Rez? How you doing? Look at the bombs dropped as well. So a declaration from G2, they're not too interested in forcing onto either side just yet. Going back with 45 seconds will be RPK to do the job. They've retrieved the bomb. Looking to smoke towards the site is Smiths. Meanwhile, Body is coming through with the bomb carry of RPK. Throwing down the smoke there. Still another boost, this time more passive play from both Glaive and Valder. And here comes the connector play, and they've completely caught off the A plays, but Valder's not buying this one. And Heroic are going to be close by with 13 seconds left. All Valder has to do is just bag himself a couple frags, and this should be taken away from the terrorists, but the bomb is being planted. And with about 6 seconds, it is going to be planted. Smith's missed out on a shot, and Freeze will punish his teammate as a result. Modi comes through onto the site. G2 just about by the skin of their teeth. Will survive. Modi sprayed out on point. 9 bullets left in the mag, though. Has to reload shortly. Does have a kit. There is Smiths. 2 frags in the rounds. Heroic will be back into an eco. So the pendulum of Counter-Strike seemingly not staying still just yet. Not favouring either side. Benots, how you doing? Do you enjoy solo casting? Hell yeah. It's tiring work though. It is certainly tiring. You realise it might not be the most entertaining stuff, guys, but hopefully it's somewhat watchable. Full USP, so this is actually the fullest, purest sense of the word of eco. Not a single bit of investment for the counter-terrorists. And as a result, you assume there's going to be absolutely 0 kills are taken back for Heroic here. I mean, this really is, you know, a throwaway round if you've ever seen one. Team X / Heroic, just what do they even get done here? What is the hope that someone pushes onto the site, they maybe get a weapon away from them, but it's likely going to be a Mac 10 because in these kind of rounds, G2 have read the economic situation perfectly. They'll just put a Mac 10 onto the site, he'll take point, expendable weapon, if they lose it, no problem. And if Heroic pick it up, so what? They've got full armor. But I mean, G2, we're not giving anything away in this round. We'll be pushing in. Valda's behind the barrels. This is where he'd love to have a P250. Yeah, she does get the frag onto Shocks. I mean, can you even get hype about that? Not really. Does it mean anything? Freeze just got his light shut off, though. And G2, who looked dead and buried after the first half, I'll give all the credit to them. And in particular, Shocks, who's had one hell of a second half. Are now back, breathing down the necks of Heroic. One round behind them. And in this round, there's going to be 2 UMPs in play, which, I mean, as far as SMGs are concerned, the UMP really is a pretty solid weapon. You can still get a lot of damage done with this. But of course they'd rather have a couple of extra M4s, and Freeze has been caught with his pants down, very nearly gets punished, down to 21. He's, of course, the AWPer. So that's a huge passage of play. Hold out for a second, because Stappy, he's riding the bike. Now, if this is a one-and-done kind of position, there is such a little chance that you're going to get anything more than just the one frag. And there we go. It is a one-and-done, but Freeze does have his back up on the flower bed. So a decent chain of play sees Heroic take the player advantage now. But again, the damage is being inflicted. This time it's RPK. He goes through by himself. Single-handedly takes down Modi. Three plays 3. Shocks making sure no one is circling around the backside. Going to catch the French unaware. Very much a split defense. Valda's up on the surf. Clave, I mean, it's not the greatest position for UMP, but I suppose in terms of SMGs, it's one of the best at this kind of range. And then Freeze is on A by himself, but very low. So, all things considered, this is looking really precarious for Heroic. The thing is, though, time is ticking down, and this may mean that Shocks doesn't check the corner. Especially when he gets that first pick, you can see he doesn't expect the double stack. And now Valda is in a place where he could just turn this on. There's the first frag. It's laboured, though, at best, and he misses out so many bullets that he's not able to shift across and pick up the second frag. He is going to be irate with himself. He had every chance there to turn the round in their favour, and now it's up to Freeze. Body is taken down. Freeze doesn't have a kit, so he's going to have to try and make something spectacular happen. And that Molotov, oh, that's such a blue balls Counter-Strike moment. He just threw his smoke out as well. That is a slap to the face. He has actually picked up the kit now. He's waiting for the plane to come through. Oh, he lands the shot in mid-air. He's going to get the clutch. Freeze, you monster. You absolute beast. Freeze clutches the round. Well, it looked dead and buried. Cool, calm, collected. And Heroic are taken around from underneath G2's nose. Well then. I thought the round had pretty much died alongside Valda when he missed out on the opportunity, but no. Freeze had other plans. Okay then, let's go. Let's go. G2 trying to bounce back into the round any way they can into this map. RPK actually getting the opening pick. 2 opening picks with the MAC-10 is very much not expected. You thought maybe the one frag he'd go down, but single-handedly opens up the site with the MAC-10. 2 big kills, and Heroic now have a decision. I think they're actually just going to try and save. They're in a position now where they'll still be around in the lead, and there's no way they're going to clutch this. Not against 5. So just try and save. Go through into the next round with an open 2 M4s. And try and rinse and repeat. You've got to say, though, RPK, that was something special with the MAC-10 going through by himself. Snappy with one. Smith is going to try and force his way through. Does get a kill. Honestly, though, Smith's getting a 1-for-1 is worthwhile. Because the CT's economy is in tatters right now. And you can see that extra weapon would have been huge for Heroic. G2 can buy back up. They can replenish the weapons, no problems. But Heroic now are going to have to drop some UMPs, maybe a FAMAS. So you can see how much it hurts them to have lost that third weapon. Oh, and G2 have no chill. They're taking no prisoners. They're going right back in. Again, that grenade lands on the head of Smiths and partially body. But again, it's going to be the entry frag heaven for G2. 3 kills in quick succession over multiple angles. Fair play to Heroic for hanging on to this round and bringing it back to a 2-on-3. Snappy from shorts, giving his position away, actually shooting off the M4. Meanwhile, Freeze is traversing down into the murky depths of Graffiti. Player to his right-hand side, that's going to be Smiths with his AK. I mean, surely Freeze realises there's a very high chance someone's here. Oh, Freeze. I feel so bad for him. He had the right idea, but as soon as his teammate died, he had to commit, and now Heroic on the brink of a loss. G2 have nearly pulled back a crazy deficit on that first half. On the precipice of actually taking this map outright, and Heroic will not be forcing in this one. They'd be playing potentially for overtime instead. So, how are they going to be coming out into this round? Typically, I'd quite like to see a team just stack a site and just hope for the best, but it seems like Heroic for now are going to put Freeze on long by himself. Snappy's in heaven. The bulk of the defense is on B site, that much is certainly true. Drid, you're a pair. Congratulations, dude. Proud of you. Now, very reminiscent to the last time this happened in a full eco, G2 are just giving nothing away. Extremely slow. It doesn't make for the most entertaining viewing, but you can understand why they're doing this. They don't want to give anything away, and as far as they're concerned, it's very possible that Heroic would be on a force buy of pistols, the likes of CZs, 5.7s, Deagles, that sort of stuff. So why even risk pushing onto a site without scouting first? So Shox is going to check the angle. Last time Valda got him from there, so has learned from that previous mistake. But this should be a complete massacre, and indeed it will be. Shox with 2 kills. Snappy actually dinks RPK on the retreat, so that's pretty impressive. Snappy will actually finish off RPK. And the USP maybe good for 1 more kill. No, it's not. So, it's all down to this Heroic's save. Mid to high $4,000. It is a half decent buy for sure. It's going to include no kits and no ops. G2 are in such a good position here to take this map. So, strangely enough, Overpass today has been heavily T-sided. Typically, you fancy the CTs to get the bulk of the rounds, but collectively between the two teams, it's been, what, 7 rounds on CT side, I believe, and the rest have been on the T side. Pretty nuts when you think about it, but that being said, maybe we're heading to overtime. Heroic still have a solid chance to bring us back to that sort of a scenario. Glaive and Valda again, a similar setup to what we've seen before. Valda's actually up on the boost. Now, Shox did check that last time, so I'm expecting that if Shox does go through, and he is the B player right now, he's playing extremely deep and passive. But it's going to be a case of wrapping around bathroom. Now, they've done this many times in the past and then came down connected to B. So I don't think this necessarily tells the full picture of what's going to happen. The fact they have 2 players on long, though, definitely suggests this could be an A hit. 35 seconds left, and they are going to be going in for this. Decent counter flashes, though. And Freeze up on the boosting lineup from 2 frags, nearly a third. RPK and Body have both fallen down. And now this is asking a great deal by G2. Smiths misses out on the shot, was partially through smoke. Here he comes now, Freeze for a third. And surely one of his teammates is going to step up tall now. And clutch this round for an overtime. Scream with the AWP. He's the last remaining Terrace player. What a shot that is onto Modi. But it doesn't matter because Heroic will take it. And we are heading to overtime. Wow. This is actually happening. Yesterday, I think there was 2 or 3 overtimes. Today, I'm getting another one. A bit spoiled. Damn. I'm going to get myself a drink, guys. Rest my voice a little bit. We still have another map after this. So, I'll be back in a few moments. No, I'm just drinking water. I'm boring. Of course, when I solo cast, I get like 20 overtimes. Why not? Get wrecked. $51-54 incoming. No chance. Please. 34-31, calling it right now, Fimetis. Please no. I had one of them at Bucharest, but at least I had Anders to cast with them. Alrighty, ladies and gents, that's a new one. Brilliant. We're gonna have first to 19 is the victor. 10k starting money, and Snappy just got completely smashed. Grenades aplenty through mid. Down to 19, he will fall. 2 Anders, 1 table. Kappa. Ooh, big pick. Not only has Snappy been dropped low, but Shocks with the AWP will make it work over on the monster side. And now Snappy, who's very close to burning alive, I was about to say, if the flames spread a little bit further, he is dead on short A. So G2 have taken full control over the early stages of overtime, but Heroic are not done just yet. They still have Freeze alive with the AWP, who is going to be on A by himself, and then Modi and Valda are on B. And I'm going to guess that Valda's up on the jump again. Yep. Why not? So I'm going to keep on board with Freeze because I feel like he's the man right now that could potentially salvage this for Heroic. He's going to have to put in a shift and a half though to do just that. And here we go. He spotted 1 player up long. It's going to be Scream. Scream's not going to give his position away. Yes, he actually will, and Freeze will get that free frag. Freeze is looking for a second one. And now the CT should be scampering it. Freeze lands his second kill. Is that going to be the moment that secures this round for Team X? Heroic are now going to be pushing their way through. There's 2 kills. What is happening here, G2? Shocks could get the frag, but he actually looks around. And Alvalda's going to be peering up from behind him. Muddy's trying to make some noise. And there is Valda. They've actually got the clutch. Heroic come in with 2 beautiful AWP shots by Freeze. Don't understate how hard he made things for G2 to get on the site. And then Modi, in the meanwhile, lands 2 frags with the M4. And G2 have just shut the bed. Let's be honest. Full on dumped in the bed. Take nothing away from Freeze or Heroic, but G2 should not be losing that round. Grenade through mid again. This time it doesn't connect. There were a couple players there, both Freeze and Snappy. Look, bro, it's nearly 10 at night here, so get a bit delirious, all right? Let me off. Alrighty then. G2, can you bounce back from that devastating, depressive loss? Val's up on the same place again. I don't even need to switch across. You know which place I'm talking about. Let's just assume he's there every round. I suppose that Shox has only seen him there once, so maybe he feels like his position is still a fresh one as far as the G2 members have knowledge of. And the flash is coming through. 4 players strong will be coming along right now. Snappy is watching short and it's down to this man. Freeze biceps. Well, he gets cramp. And down he goes. Heroic may even think about just saving in this round. I feel like the save is a lot more intelligent of a play, and they're going to go for it. Because even the round they did clutch, they only clutched it with 2 players, so their economy is in no place right now to throw weapons away. Looks like Moddy's going to be the only player that tries to contest this. Rip. And the last 2 CTs will be saving. So, 16 apiece. G2 have answered. They have got some redemption for that previous loss. And to make matters worse for Heroic and Valda, they have lost the second player of Clave. This means that they're in a position where they can buy again. Maybe not quite as strong as they'd hoped for. Some drops are going to be in effect here. Looks like it's going to be a decent enough buy. The important thing though is just saving 1 weapon, which they've done. And the reason why 2 of them backed away so they could try and watch each other's backs. But into the present now, Scream does connect the first shots in the head of Freeze. And again, he's done this quite a few times. Honestly, Freeze has gone looking all 3 times through mids, and he's died or been tagged. So I don't know. Maybe if this goes in second overtime, he may think about not doing that anymore. Alda again up here. She drops down this time. Connector control taken by G2, and in the meanwhile, Heroic are making a move through long. So both Snappy and Moddy may think about coming down into connector, but they may meet Body there. So for me, that's going to be the key play here. Valda's up there again, and Glaive, meanwhile, is watching his teammates back. The flashbang lands on both of them, but it's going to be the short play that comes in. And something RPK's up in the face, up in the grill of Glaive. Valda's going to get the 1 frag, but that's it. Now Moddy through connector will at least get the upper hand onto Scream, who started this round off so well. Grenade goes up, does negligible damage to Smiths. And now Snappy and Moddy have to try and retake. Moddy actually running all the way around. This is wasting a lot of time, and of course no need to save in this one. Is he going to check the right side? No, he's not. And Shox will put him down. Alright, Moddy. Can he pull off the sickest 1v3 clutch? What are you doing? G2, please! Have some respect for yourselves. You're not going to lose this round, are you? No, they're not. But to even be down in a 1v1 where the clutch was a possibility is terrifying. Alright, G2 will be leading at the half-time of overtime, but that was a puckered butthole moment for the G2 boys. cast the bet in G2. So people have said in chat that I am like betting on Heroic, and now that G2 are winning, I'm betting on G2. You guys are nuts. You thought I said pocket butthole? What? Not quite. Hey, Dr. Selby, this has been a hell of a comeback. I'll hold my hands high and say that I never thought that G2 would be able to pull this back. After 11-4 first half, going through into their T side, never thought they would manage to do this. So I am very happy to be proven wrong. It's made for a very close map of Counter-Strike. What's up, and drunk? Hypnotic crazy. Ban the caster. Sounds like a pretty good idea. I'll ban myself so there's no stream. How about that? Does that sound good? Kappa test. Who do you think's winning Gfinity? That's actually really tough to call right now. I've got half a mind that Mouse Sports might be able to do it, you know? With Nico and Oscar. Maybe. What do you reckon? While you guys are figuring that out, we have got back into the action. Has restarted once again. This time Heroic, the shoe is on the other foot. They're going to be attacking. G2 are going to be defending. And it should be mentioned that in regulation, both teams had a piss poor CT sides. Very, very bad indeed. It was the T side that really ran rampant. A lot of that was down to the economy, of course, which shouldn't play as much of a factor in overtime. Let's see if G2 have had a chance to rack their brains together and figure out what the issue was. So we're going to be executing pretty late on in this round. I mean, 30 seconds left, and I think they're just about to start pulling the trigger on this execute. So this is right up in the air, a coin flip, if you will. All down to the opening couple of picks. They've gone the way of Screen. The headshot machine with 2 kills. Glaive and Snappy both get destroyed. Freeze, though, is going to come back with a kill of his own. 14 seconds now on the timer, and Shox is there to stand tall and deliver the fatal shot. Freeze and Modi, though, the last 2 remaining terrorists up against 2 of their own, and Modi is trying to plant this bomb. The bomb has gone down, but there is RPK. Scream's opening picks onto Bathroom and Short were just destructive. And now G2 have to convert one of the next 2 rounds to take the first map and to complete the comeback. This would be one hell of a comeback. Heroic will feel sick to their stomach if they lose this. But it's not over just yet. Heroic, if they win the next 2, will be going to second overtime. They have a very healthy dosage of weapons and nades. Pretty much a split, divide and conquer approach with no push through just yet. Do I get paid 10k a month? Not even close. Not even close, mate. Smiths lands the shot. He's actually done it on the CT side. I didn't think we'd witness that today, but it has came down onto Bathroom. And now looking up long, where no one is currently. Of course, no way for Smiths to know that, so he's going to hold that position for now. And we're starting to see the grenades being exchanged outside of Monster. RPK with the spray. Not quite on point, but he at least gets one frag before he falls down. And meanwhile, Valda's going to go big onto Shocks, and now that leaves the last two remaining G2 members pushing out of heaven. Bomb's going to get planted. Freeze couldn't see a single thing. Here comes Valda. Oh, Freeze actually missed his chance. It's very uncharacteristic. He's been landing those all day long. Scream's got two already. And Freeze, could that have been the moment that cost him so dearly? Scream still seems to think this last player could be on the site. From his position, he's waiting for the smoke to clear. Now, he has no flashes or smokes himself, so he's going to have to tickle the bomb and try and hope for the best. Oh, it's actually landed the shot and Freeze's miss! That was the moment. G2 are going to have this round. Scream with a sick 1v3 clutch in the end. And G2 come back from an 11-4 deficit to win it in overtime. 19-16. Unbelievable. Heroic have let that map slip through their fingers. I have no words, guys. I have no words. But that's the first of two maps today between these two teams. Train is coming up next. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes' time with map number 2. I don't know about you guys. I need to go get me some fresh air. Be right back.